Diversity Committee for September 2021. Thank you for joining. I understand Rhonda Herman, your chair, is not available today, so I will be acting in her stead. I will do my best to live up to our quality and standards. Thank you, non-official members of the committee. I appreciate you joining. Mr. Garner, do we have any public speakers?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we have two.
Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Our first, Commissioner Chair, our first speaker for today is Jason Anthony.
Good morning, Neil. Good morning, Michael. And good morning to the Diversity Committee. After the unfortunate incident that we saw happening in New York State, we should have more woman power within the MTA and in the subsidiaries of the MTA. And even better, in our board. Because 2 women in the board, I don't think is not enough. But at 10 o'clock, I will be making an important announcement, and someone will be disappointed about my announcement. So, see you guys at 10 o'clock.
And our second speaker?
Our next speaker is Alita Dupree.
Good morning. Thank you, Chair Neil Zuckerman and members. Alita Dupree for the record. My pronouns are she and her. Always good to be back with you. Need a clock here. And I maintain to you the importance of diversity. And the MTA board is one of the diverse boards I know. That's an asset. And I am diverse. I'm a person who does not meet societally established definitions. I'm a service-disabled Army veteran, Desert Storm. I'm Jewish. I'm wearing a Raiders T-shirt. I am diverse, and I maintain the importance of practicing in equity and welcome. And the system means a lot to me because I grew up on it. Equity and welcome is something that must always be practiced, must never stop. I remember the words of your former chair, Pat Foy, standing in Grand Central Terminal and said something like this: hate has no place on this system. And the vast, vast majority of people who work for this system are good people, good people. I had a good ride. You know, it's not a perfect ride this morning. It's a good ride. And I used Omni. I had my MetroCard story. I'll save that for another time. But, you know, this system serves people all over the world. 153 nations represented by Omni. I'm one of those. How can be a system that will equally welcome everyone who comes, whether they live here for decades or they're just here for an hour? Everybody should practice equity and welcome. It's not fun when people are not courteous behind the glass partitions. So thank you for the work, and the work must continue. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. I will note the uncommon coincidence of a speaker and the chair both being Jewish, service-connected, disabled veterans. I think that's kind of an interesting mix here in the Diversity Committee meeting. All right, Michael, any change to the work plan?
None.
Okay, you want to give us the summary?
Absolutely.
All right, sir, over to you.
With regards to the business and diversity initiatives, George Lanos is going to give us a quick update.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Mr. Garner.
George, how are you? Where are all your nameplates? This is such a rarity. No one's got the nameplates out as usual. It's feel slighted that you can see my name and I can't see all yours. So after you, sir.
Thank you, sir. So during the period of April 2021 through June 2021, the Department of Diversity and Civil Rights outreach efforts attracted 723 firms. As a result of DDCR's outreach efforts, 13 certified firms received a total of $9.8 million in awards, and 58 certified firms received $31.6 million in payments. That's my report, Michael.
Thank you. Thank you. Lorraine, give us an update on the DBE certification results.
Good morning. There were 457 new applications received and 302 firms certified from 2017 to 2021. Thank you.
And is that an increase or decrease from
It's a
from
slight
the year?
decrease.
A slight decrease.
Yes.
And because of COVID. But then we are having monthly DBE certification workshops.
Absolutely,
And
yes.
what is the results of the attendance? Is it up?
Yes, it is. It's
Okay.
up.
How many firms attend average?
We've got about, average, we've got about 40 firms.
40 firms. 40 firms are coming in and being briefed on our DBE certification assistance.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Dr. Rosling.
Let's just slow down and just drop Michael. I want to give my colleagues a chance to ask any questions. We are going a little fast, so if you've got any questions, guys, please jump in. After you.
Great. And Dr. Green, can you give us an update on our 2021 EEO activities?
Yes, while overall the MTA workforce is decreasing in the number of employees overall, our diversity numbers have remained constant. At this point, we have 69,639 employees, of which 18% are female, 70% are minority. We have 2,104 veterans that have identified as veterans, and we have individuals with disabilities, 445. Now, while that number for the individuals with disability may seem a bit low, that's because everyone does not self-identify, and it's not a mandatory thing, as well as veteran status. That is something that is a voluntary self-identification. As far as new hires, we have hired 1,310 employees, as you can see on the screen. And again, we have remained constant with our diversity numbers. We have been very focused on making sure that in all of the transformation efforts that we are looking, evaluating, and part of those conversations.
Dr. Green, a question for you. Where are we happy with our diversity, and where are we less than happy with where we are?
We're less than happy with our diversity at the top level, as far as executives, senior management, as far as female representation and minority representation at the top levels. We also have certain professional categories that we also would like to see an increase in diversity. Our numbers, when we report, are a whole combination, like professionals is all professionals. But if you look within and have a detailed analysis of the professionals, we have certain groups that we would like to do better, that we have underutilization there.
And when you say underutilization, you're referring to slides 47, 46. It provides, and when you say underutilization, just describe that term, please, for us.
So for underutilization, we use the census data to look in our recruitment area to determine what is the availability for individuals within our recruitment area for those respective categories that can apply for the positions, and they qualify for the positions that we offer here at the MTA. So from that percentage, it's a breakdown for females and minorities, and it's a breakdown for blacks, Hispanics, Asians, Native Americans, etc. From those numbers, we look internally and compare that percentage to the availability in our recruitment areas for those particular jobs. So it's not just diversity in numbers and how many people are in our our service area is those people who are ready, willing, able, and qualified to apply for our positions.
Last question, and professions, how well communicated, I don't see them listed here. I assume you mean by professions whether mechanic or accountant. And so I don't see those listed in this document. Are those well known to the hiring managers and the department heads in our organization about where you're less than happy and where they need to be working on?
Yes, so each agency has an EEO officer, and part of that responsibility is communicating when we have hiring opportunities where we are underutilized. So professionals would be engineers, accountants, attorneys, that sort of thing, and it usually requires a 4-year degree in a professional category. So mechanics are going to be in the skill craft. So that would be, a skill craft and electricians and that sort of thing. And then operators are going to be under different categories, which would be service maintenance. So while we have 70% diversity, minority diversity within the MTA, there are certain areas as we move up those EEO categories where we are less than satisfied.
Bob, please.
So, forgive me if I, not familiar enough with it in my questions, but let me say, one of the really excellent points that I think Neil always brings to the table on whatever the issue is a focus on where are we doing best and where are we doing worst, and how do we learn from the best and work on where we're not doing well, and so tell me. And I think Neil was getting at that, of do we have metrics that specifically say, okay, in this profession or in this job title, these are the job titles we're going to focus on, and are they metrics that, and maybe they're here and I just haven't seen them. Again, I haven't appreciated what they say, but that are we able to have an approach that focuses on exactly that, of learning the best practices in those areas and those positions, and make sure that we focus with a laser focus on those where we're doing less well. And I think that's almost want to echo Neil's point, which I think is always well taken in every area, whether it be fare evasion or vaccination or whatever we're doing. It's a similar question, and it's always a perceptive one.
Let me take a quick stab at that. So Dr. Green is aggressively awaiting the conclusion of transformation. Once transformation has been concluded and all of the employees are shifted around, that gives us the ability then to delve into what the data is going to tell us. And that data is going to tell us where there are hiring gaps and deficiencies aligned with each job category. Then we are going to come together with our people department and create strategies that's going to allow us to go out into the marketplace in diverse areas, NAACP, Urban League, other associations, post our positions, create relationships with the goal of creating a process and a strategy which allows us to recruit and hire a diverse population that reflects our service region. So that's the long-term strategy, but we are aggressively awaiting the completion of transformation. And so yes, we will have those metrics. We will know where there are hiring gaps and deficiencies. That gives us the ability to come together as an organization and create strategies so we can improve where there needs to be improvement. And as Dr. Green indicated, that yes, at the higher levels of this organization, there's not as much diversity as it could and should be. And so we are going to be working with this board, with our CEO and others to make sure that we have the ability, once again, to recruit a diverse workforce.
Another thing is,
Sorry.
I'm sorry, another thing is in transformation, we have a tower, that's the EO tower, that goes down and there's a deep dive into all of the statistics for every position that we hire inside the MTA. So it's not just lumped together into the overall categories. We actually look at each job and see where we are deficient. We also are having conversations with the People Tower about our job descriptions because sometimes the job descriptions drive who is attracted to the job and how we retain employees once we have employees that come into the MTA so that we can keep our top talent here. So those are two of the things that we are focusing, have a high focus on at this point in time.
This is just a really stupid question, Michael. Why are we waiting for the end of transformation to do that?
Because the data is not going to be correct because all the lift and shift would not have been finalized. And so we need to perform the lift and the shift, finalize the transformation, and then we have a great assessment of where the hiring gaps are going to be within the organization.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Green. All right, Michael, continue.
Yes, George.
Good morning, everyone. Just want to go through a few things with regard to the Small Business Development Program. Let's look at this year, first quarter, we awarded 12 contracts totaling $8.6 million. Since the inception of the program through to June 30th, we have awarded 464 contracts totaling $494.8 million. But most recently, we achieved our greatest milestone to date, reaching and exceeding the $500 million mark, having awarded 471 total contracts within the program. Our loan program, since the inception, we have awarded 132 loans, have been approved, totaling $18.4 million. And our surety bond assistant program, we have assisted approximately 38 firms, which yielded $428 million in surety bonds to our contractors. Currently, we're on the downward trend because of the pandemic, but as we move forward, we anticipate, that increase. And that concludes my my executive summary. Mike, you might want to say something.
Let me just say that the point that George made, which is historic, is that since the creation of the Small Business Mentoring Program, which was created for us to do a more effective job of diversifying our capital construction projects. So we went to Albany and we changed the state law. That law was just reauthorized so that the MTA Small Business Mentoring Program is a state law for the next 10 years. And George indicated that we just exceeded the $500 million mark. There was 480 contracts awarded during the past 12 years, which allowed us to exceed the $500 million mark. This program is great because it allows our small contractors who are historically subcontractors to perform work as prime contractors for North America's largest transformation network. And that's vital because now they are in control of their own destiny. They're not waiting 3 and 4 months to get paid. They are prime contractors are performing work for us. There are internal discussions going on in which George knows and understand. The previous vice chair of the Honorable Fernando Ferrer has asked that there be more diversity in the Small Business Mentoring Program. And we're currently having internal meetings to make sure that we are awarding contracts to Black contractors, Hispanic contractors, Asian contractors, SDVOB contractors. And so we're having those internal discussions, and we will have a game plan in a very, very short period of time.
So just a question on one of the charts, slide 61 has a nice geographic mix of small businesses. I don't see the County of Putnam, County of Rockland, County of Dutchess, County Orange, which all four make up, my vote. And those I share with 3 of my colleagues. Is that because there are no small businesses in those 4 counties?
No, that's not the reasons. We had pre-COVID, we had outreach sessions in some of those counties, and we worked with Susan Mesker and others historically. The issue is that at Metro North, there are not a lot of small business mentoring program in those counties. And so we're working with them. We're working with all of our agencies to allocate projects to each one of the counties that we in fact have. But I will take that note. I will have a conversation with Metro North, and to see if we can further identify contracts, which then gives us the ability to recruit small businesses up in those counties so they can bid on those projects in those counties. And
I guarantee you there are small businesses in those 4 counties.
yes, they are. The key is now for us to get projects. And so I will work internally and in fact to do that. George.
Clarify the counties, Putnam, Orange, you said there were 4?
Dutchess and Rockland.
Dutchess, yep.
If you may meet a gentleman named Borelli, another guy named Fleischer, and a third guy named Poor. Those are my fellow board members, and my name is Zuckerman, the 4 board members that represent those 4 counties.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next there are our MWDB contract compliance report. Chris.
Good morning. I'm Chris Santarello. I'll be presenting on MWDBE and SDVOB contract compliance. For the first quarter of the state fiscal year 2021 and 2022, MWBEs were awarded $32 million or 12%, and MWBEs were paid $223 million or 27%. SDVOBs were awarded $3 million or 8%, and SDVOBs were paid $11 million or 5%. The state collects data by payments. So for DBEs, in the first half of the federal fiscal year 2021, so that's October to March, DBEs were awarded $49 million or 14%, and DBEs were paid $135 million, which represents 19%. The FTA collects data on payments and awards. So in terms of capital projects, in the first half of the federal fiscal year, again, October 2020 to March 2021, DBEs were awarded $19 million, which represents 23%, and DBEs received payments of $61 million or 21% participation. And for the first quarter of the state fiscal year, which is April 2021 to June 2021, MWBEs were awarded were awarded $11 million, which represents 25%, and MWBEs were paid $17 million, which represents 31% participation. SDVOBs were awarded $852,000, which represents 4%, and SDVOBs were paid $2 million, which represents 1% participation. And that concludes my report.
So the overall headline was what? The headline was that the MTA, for the first time in history, achieved the governor's 30% MWBE goal at 31%?
Correct.
That's the headline?
Absolutely. We achieved 31%.
The other headline is that we are improving with our awards to service our disabled veterans.
Yes, that's true. And that's represented in the first slide where you see the SDVOB awards at 8% and contract payments at 5%.
George, we have a targeted focus approach of dealing with veteran groups.
That is correct, Mike.
Okay. And the other headline is that, and it's not reflected here, but the current DBE participation, our goal is 20%. Maria, where are we currently right now? So we are currently at 34% with DBE inclusion. There's 2 weeks left in this FTA reporting period. So we are achieving each one of our goals and our metrics with respect to contract awards. Great, thank you. Legal fees, I can give you a quick overview of that. And so we are currently at 16% MW SDVOB inclusion when it comes to legal fees. And so we are working with Tom Quigley and his staff to make sure that we are going to achieve the governor's 30% goal in this very critical area of legal fees. And so we've targeted this. The past 4 years, there's been increase from 4% MWB inclusion. We're currently at 16%, and we're not going to rest until we are awarding and issuing legal fees to a diverse pool of law firms, and we're not going to rest until we hit the 30% target. Financial services. Next. We are currently at 29% when it comes to legal fees. And so during the most recent RFP that we had, I personally voted, and then we secured 41% participation of investment banking firms. And so we are moving forward. Finance have done a fantastic job. About 2 years ago, there was one time when we were awarding 49% of all of our investment banking fees to New York State certified MW and SDVOB firms. And so we are optimistic that we are going to continue to maintain issuing fees to a diverse population of investment banking firms. And asset fund managers, they are currently $1.87 billion dollars of MTA funds being managed by a diverse pool of MWBE asset fund managers. And so we continue not only on the capital side, but we also continue on the services side also as well to make sure that the MTA is affording opportunities to New York State certified MWBE firms. And so we're going to have a brief presentation. We implemented a paid college internship program at Second Avenue Subway, and this is what government should be doing. Not only creating new, sparkling, efficient projects, but we should be affording opportunities to residents in those areas in which we are, in fact, building our projects. And so we're going to get a quick overview of the paid college summer internship program.
Thanks, Michael. I'm Tim Gianfrancesco. I'm the project CEO for Second Avenue Subway Phase 2, work for MTA C&D. So just a little bit history, Second Avenue. So we started the summer internship program back in 2017 when we restarted the design for Second Avenue Phase 2. Most of you know Second Avenue Phase 2, the scope. It's extending the Q line service north of 96th Street, which was created in Phase 1 for Second Avenue Subway. This extends it up to 125th Street and Lexington Avenue. You see on the screen the alignment of Phase 2 Second Avenue takes us right through the heart of East Harlem. So we're on Second Avenue, and we advance north, and we'll have a new station at 106th Street, a station at 116th Street, and then when we get to 125th Street, we turn to the west towards Central Harlem, and we have our new terminal station between Lexington and Park Avenue, where we'll have connections to the 4, 5, and 6, and also to Metro North at Park Avenue. It's just a little bit of history. Title of this slide is Delivering on Promises. This dates back to, I know the history on Second Avenue. I won't go all the way back to the 1920s, but decades ago, the Second Avenue and Third Avenue Ls were demolished. There were promises to provide transit once that occurred for a subway system. Since then, population has grown, and in particular, East Harlem. It's one of the most transit-dependent populations, a high level of poverty, and a high population in public housing, one of the highest in the city. So we need to provide transit service or better transit service there to cure a lot of the issues in that neighborhood. Second Avenue Subway will bring access to jobs, to healthcare, and reverse commuting to Westchester, Connecticut. It's something that we need to do. I mean, that's just a sales pitch for the project. We all know that. Getting to the summer internship program. So we're in our 5th year. With Michael's help, we developed a relationship with CCNY right in the neighborhood, and we recruit students in the STEM programs. Second Avenue being a complex mega project allows us to provide the opportunity for these students to get experience in some of these, in the technical aspects and in the engineering fields, so that they could leverage that and hopefully advance and kickstart their careers once they finish their college program. Over the course of the internships, we brought in 37 interns since we began the program. This year we had 4 vibrant young engineering students. They worked on things such as tunneling, ventilation designs. We also broadened the categories a little bit this year. Some of the other aspects of what we do for a mega project, they helped us out with our real estate acquisition program, with our electronic data management systems for the projects. I would have loved to have some of them here. Unfortunately, this meeting always takes place just after the students start their senior semester. So unfortunately, they weren't able to be here. But it's been a great experience, and we plan to keep it going. Thanks.
Yes, it's paid. Yes. Thanks, Tim. I appreciate it. Thanks for the great job that you're doing in making sure that this program maintains its excellence. Dr. Green.
We thought this was an excellent opportunity to show how diversity works all around in everything we do at the MTA. This project represents how we have a mega project. We have opportunities for procurement. We have Title VI there because we're looking at equity and services, and we're looking at the communities that have a need for focused and connection to all of our other transit services and seamless transportation. And it also shows that we have as we talked about the underutilization in our professional categories, engineering is one of those. And so it shows how we can reach out and try to tap into new talent, give them an opportunity to get hands-on experience in mega projects, and that's something that is rare. You don't get that opportunity everywhere. But MTA is unique, and we have that opportunity for these students to come in and get a taste of mega projects and get an interest in the MTA as a future employer.
Dr. Green's point is a great one because we can use these type of programs in order to recruit, train a future diverse workforce. And so we've been having internal conversation. I'm going to bring it back up that we should have paid college internship programs here at the MTA as a way of recruiting future diverse talent. And there's a sentiment that's going around about unpaid college opportunities, but the average student in this city cannot afford to work in an unpaid internship program because in some cases they're being raised by a single parent mired in poverty. And if we have the opportunity to recruit a future diverse workforce and pay these kids, it's a win-win for everyone.
So, Mike, I totally agree. This is government at its best. I've for years thought that both the city's school system, the high schools and the colleges, should be tremendous developers and pipelines of talent into city and state and MTA jobs. So I think this is terrific and should be a model all around the public sector in New York of how to use the resource of the million school students along with the higher education students in New York. They ought to be an absolute flow. I've always thought that, for instance, nursing ought to be a main line of kids from the school system into and into degree programs and into hospitals in the same way that I think the MTA is. This is terrific. Thanks.
Thank you. Last but not least, I was humbled to be nominated by William C. Thompson, the former city controller and the current chairman of the board of trustees at CUNY, for an award at Cranes, and I was one of 5 finalists for Cranes Chief Diversity Officer of the Year, and I won. And Cranes, thank you. Cranes called me the Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky of a diversity, but I'm both Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky, and Mike Garner understands that superstar athletes win scoring titles, but teams win championships. And so we have built an all-star team here at the MTA, which is driving diversity results in a number of areas, including EEO, Title VI, MW, DBE, and SDVOB. And the team should be given all the credit because a leader has a vision, but a team executes that vision. So I just want to thank my team for a fantastic job that they do day in and day out and on the weekends. And there's a small clip that's going to be played. Hi, on behalf of the MTA, I would like to personally thank Cranes and New York Business for this very esteemed award. At the MTA, we take our D&I initiatives extremely serious. Under the leadership of MTA Chairman and CEO Pat Foy and the whole entire MTA board and the team here, we paid a total of $1.1 billion last year to New York State certified M&WB firms, becoming one of the only government agencies in the nation to achieve that feat. We understand that access to government contracts equals home ownership opportunities, job creation, better healthcare options, and better educational opportunities. And so once again, on behalf of the MTA, North America's largest transportation network with more than 70,000 employees, we would personally like to thank you very much for having a focus on D&I in this great city and great state that we live in. Thank you very much.
Well, Michael, congratulations. That's quite a testament to you individually and you as a group collectively. So well done. I say that on behalf of my 2 fellow committee members who are not here and the entire board. I think it's worthy of another round of applause. So well done.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. And these programs work because of board support. So thank you for your historical and continuous support of our diversity efforts. Thank you.
It's obviously very important. And with that very high note, I ask for a motion to adjourn, even though you guys are not in the members of the committee. So thank you very much. And we are in adjournment until 10 o'clock for the full board meeting. Thank you very much again. Congratulations.